I'm happy Disney did an about face, and I'm liking this little, this media civil war that's going on right now. This constitutional civil war that's going on right now. Urban folks, stand down. Stand down. Just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show. Now, he does give a legit apology, but he does clap back at Trump. And Trump is a maniac at this point. I don't see how y'all, but you know what? God bless you. Let's go. Stand ovation. Did you see the nationality, the races of the people in the crowd? This ain't y'all's business. Stay out of Jacob and Esau business. Shout out to Forerunner. I've been saying for years, stay out of white folks' affairs. That's not your business. Okay? Look at that sea of white folk. Sea of white folk. This is not your business. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah, nothing but white folk. This ain't for y'all. None of y'all watch Jimmy Kimmel to begin with, so why would you care? I'm here for it. All right, so here's what one of my buddies at work, actually, that was one of the staffers that was off for 3 days. So here's what happened. When they pulled it, Jimmy got his attorneys on the phone, and then they were preparing for a lawsuit because they had no cause to pull him off. He didn't violate none of the contracts. All right, so the fact that one of the affiliates put pressure on Disney was not a good enough reason for them to remove him for 3 days. So after they pulled him, 3 days went by. Disney lost about $3 billion in subs, either for or against Jimmy. And then Jimmy's attorneys called the White House. They called the White House and they called the FCC chairman. They said, hey, what you did gives us cause to sue not only the administration, but everybody involved. So FCC chairman backed off. He said, hey, I didn't mean what I said. I didn't mean it as a threat. Bob Iger, Anna Walden met with Jimmy and his attorneys, and they said, we're prepared to sue because you motherfuckers had no reason to pull me. I didn't violate anything in my contract. 3 days later, they put him back. It's just that simple. It really is, in a nutshell. It really is. But Trump's people were put on notice. Say, hey, and the White House officials are like, yeah, they do have cause. I mean, they could have a legit lawsuit. Is this a violation? Is it a complete violation? And 3 days later, he's back, and the number's gonna go back up because of this. So y'all did Jimmy a favor. Well, nobody watched him to begin. Okay, we watching his ass now. Good job. Okay, let's get back to it. I want to hear this monologue.
Thank you. Anyway.
Yeah, Jimmy is on his last year of his contract, but he's not going to burn this bridge with Disney. Disney will bring him back in some capacity. So everybody relax. I know his last year. Listen, Disney and Jimmy, 20 years together. Nobody's walking away from each other. They're going to bring Jimmy back in another capacity, on another platform. I told y'all he's going to be back to begin with. I told y'all. Okay? They got 20 years together. Nobody's burning a bridge. Okay? He'll be back in another form of capacity, another type of a variety show. He'll be back. Jimmy ain't tripping. Jimmy ain't tripping.
As I was saying before I was interrupted.
Hell no. Exactly.
If you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you.
Look at all them white folk.
I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past are the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry, and I want to thank everyone who checked in. It would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late-night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert, who's found himself in this predicament. My friends Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, Tom Oliver, Conan O'Brien, James Corden, Arsenio, Kathy, Wanda, Chelsea, even Jay reached out. I heard from late night hosts in other countries.
He said Arsenio reached out to him. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
From Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian. The Germans are like, come here. Come loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you. Thanks to who supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine could be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
well,
we don't like what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like, that will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. It affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks. For telling your followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind.
Okay, y'all kept saying he bent the knee. I'm trying to listen to where he bent the knee. Y'all said he bent the knee. How? Where? Yo, Bishop, thank you for the 10 on the chat, bruh. Hey, Sly, I saw the whole Brandon Tatum ish. Come to find out that those people paid 18 and 20 influencers to go to so-called Israel to change perception of America supporting Israel. Hey. Hey, listen. If Israel cut me a check, you understand? I don't think y'all understand. Like, what? Listen, this is the new wave. We have foreign governments paying influencers to sway people's opinions. What is the difference between that and a lobbyist? Okay, so let's get political for 5 minutes. What is the difference between a lobbyist and a paid influencer from a foreign government? What's the difference? Are lobbyists not paid to sway people's opinions or positions in support of something they disagree with? What is the difference? I'm not saying I agree with Brandon Tatum. I'm just saying, what's the difference at this point? Hell, cut me a check. I'll weave it real nice. I'll make it look good. Like, I'll make that shit look like, damn, I hate what Sly's saying, but I like the way he put it together. You know? What's the difference? I'm taking it. You better take the check. Shit, you better take the check. Yeah, cut me an NIL check. You want me to say what? Okay, how about we make some changes here? Let's amend some of this. That way it flows a little better, doesn't, and it seems a little bit more genuine. Man, cut me a check.
But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't.
Okay, so if this is y'all version, or y'all approve of him bending the knee, but he never made fun of Charlie Kirk. He never made fun of Charlie Kirk. He made fun of Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk. All right, if this is y'all proof that he bent the knee, all right, so be it. So be it.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many.
Hey, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't give money to Turning Point USA, like they wanted him to. He didn't get no monies out. Now he may have apologized, but he didn't get no monies out because they wanted money out of him too. That's extortion. That's hush money. Okay, that's what them people do when you fall out of favor or you run afoul of them. First thing they make you do is apologize, and then they re-educate you, and then they make you donate to them. That's what them people do. That's extortion, y'all. You can't do that. Okay, come on.
Friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence.
Yeah,
was
I covered it
and it
last year. All the YouTubers,
ever.
yeah.
And also selfishly.
So if this is him bending the knee, I guess.
I am a
Okay.
person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But I don't want to make this about me because, and I know this is what people say when they make things about them, but I really don't. This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about.
Listen, in Japan, they send billionaires to prison. You understand? Japan will send billionaires, its own billionaires, to prison. You know? That's just an example I'm giving you off the top.
This country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it's so dangerous. I want you to think about that. Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download to make sure they serve the public interest?
And this is what exactly is going to happen with TikTok. TikTok's algorithm. I'm going to cover that after this. It's a perfect segue. So Larry Ellison, if you don't know who he is, Jesus, you should know, but okay. Everything he just said here is what's going to happen to TikTok once it's officially been taken over, and they're going to reprogram its algorithm. What you're going to see is a lot of Israel-friendly ads. You're going to see a lot of people get kicked off for talking bad about Israel. Okay, we'll cover all that in a minute.
Do you think that sounds crazy? 10 years ago, this sounded crazy. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso.
Okay, now let me pause it there. Brandon walked it back. He said, I didn't mean it to sound like a threat. Well, what do you mean? How else? Let me see. Okay. Here we go. This is what he said, okay? This is the FCC chairman that initially threatened him. We can do this the hard way or whatever. He said, it was never my intention to make light of... Oh, no, that's Jimmy Kimmel. Never mind. Let me find his response. Car, where we at? Boss, okay. So Trump had an issue. Trump says, I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. That was never reported. It was suspended. So people need to learn definition, terminology, whatever the case may be. He says something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. You know why they gave him $16 million? For the merger. Okay, for a merger. He was given $16 million. When he says they, Paramount, Skydance, owned by Larry Ellison, purchased Paramount, and to keep Trump at bay, to not have the FCC and not have anti-regulatory issues pop up, monopoly issues, they gave Trump a bribe of $16 million. That's why Skydance now owns Paramount. And this is why Skydance is now looking to pursue and put a bid for Warner Brothers. This was bribe money. So you have an active president taking active bribe money to let mega corporations merge. Complete violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. But what do I know? I don't know shit. Let's continue. This sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Right. His ratings were so bad over 20 years and they never canceled him. So what did Brandon Carr say? Let me get back to what he said. Okay. Oh, come on. I'm not going to do this. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. He walked it back.
Later this morning, President Trump will deliver a speech to the 80th United Nations General Assembly. He arrived in New York City for the event last night. According to the White House, the president will talk about the renewal of American strength around the week after the network suspended the late-night host amid threats of regulatory action from the FCC chair over Kimmel's comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Disney, which owns ABC, announced the return in a statement yesterday, writing, quote, last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It's a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We've spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Some households, however, may still not see that show. Sinclair, which operates more than 30 ABC affiliates across the U.S., says it will carry news programming instead of Kimmel's return, but discussions with ABC are ongoing. Nexstar, the other major ABC affiliate owner that preempted the talk show last week, has not yet said what it plans to do. This reversal from ABC comes after days of pushback from protesters, politicians, and performers. Yesterday, just before the announcement was made, more than 400 celebrities signed a letter saying this is a dark moment for freedom of speech in our nation. Several Republican lawmakers also spoke out against the FCC's pressure on ABC. Among them, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, calling it absolutely inappropriate, and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, calling it dangerous as hell. Meanwhile, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr is attempting to clarify his controversial comments about Kimmel.
This is the guy that threatened to pull licenses for Disney. Okay, we're not even talking monies. Like I said, Disney's beyond money. But let's continue.
Denying that he threatened to revoke the broadcast licenses of ABC affiliates unless the network fired the late night host. Here's what Carr said last week, followed by his new explanation yesterday.
When you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. A very reasonable, minimal step that can be taken. I mean, obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. Again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
A lot of Democrats out there that are engaged in a campaign of projection and distortion. in distortion is they're completely misrepresenting the work of the FCC and what we've been doing. I saw there was a letter from some Senate Democrats that said the FCC threatened to revoke the license of Disney and ABC if they didn't fire Jimmy Kimmel, and that did not happen in any way, shape, or form.
But that is what he said. That is exactly what he said.
And what I spoke about last week was that when concerns are raised about news distortion, there's an easy way for parties to address that and work that out. And in the main, that takes place between local television stations that are licensed by the FCC and what we call national programmers like Disney. They work that out, and there doesn't need to be any involvement of the FCC. Now, if they don't, there's a way that's not as easy, which is someone can file a complaint at the FCC, and then the FCC, by law, as set up by Congress, has to adjudicate that complaint. And what I've been very clear in the context of the Kimmel episode is the FCC, and myself in particular, have expressed no view on the ultimate merits had something like that been filed.
Wow.
A lot to get to this morning. National political reporter for the Wall Street.
Okay, let me get back to Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, almost done.
Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And
this man is clapping at the FCC chairman, the very chairman that threatened Disney to pull their licenses. So once again, where did he bend the knee at? This man is clapping back at the guy that made the threat to Disney to pull their license. Where is is that what y'all call bend the knee? This is what you call bending the knee? I don't see it, but okay, I'll humor you guys.
that's saying something. The FCC has a tradition of meddling where they shouldn't under many administrations, but it wasn't always like this. There was an FCC commissioner back in 2022 who worked under Joe Biden who was spot on. He wrote, "President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship." You know who wrote that? FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr.
Wow.
Who later was appointed chairman of the FCC by this former crusader for free speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we
Wow.
just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go.
Wait, but y'all said, but y'all happy with what Trump is. This is why I don't get into right, blue, or right, left, red, blue, donkey, elephant type of discussions. It's useless. They're all on the same effing team. And if you're too stupid to realize that, God bless you. You should no longer be talking about Dems versus Republicans. That it should be no more right, left paradigm talk. They're all on the same team. They've all agreed to kick y'all's asses. Right? White folks, let's a basic level conversation you guys can understand. You can have two white men hate each other's guts, right? But then guess what? If a black man show up, they can put that shit to the side and say, "Hey, I'll deal with you later, but right now we gotta get this urban guy up out of here." Yeah, you're right, Jim. Let's go. That's it, at its base level. I don't know what else to tell y'all. This is why I don't even let them entertain you at this point.
Go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
A lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well,
he had no ratings for Let Y'all Tell It for 20 years. 20 years. He's been on, do y'all understand? He's been doing this for 20 years. 20. I can't imagine working a job for 20 years. I don't know what that's like. Matter of fact, I don't even want to know what that's like. I will never be my parents. I will never be my parents in regard that I will never work a job for 30 plus years to earn a retirement or a pension. I don't even want to know what that's like. I don't want to know what it's like to work a job for 10 years. Do you understand? I don't want to know that. I'm sorry. Sorry. No, thank you.
I do tonight. You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
Oh. Nasty work.
A lot of people have been asking me if there are conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement. And
clowning. He's clowning.
Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account, open the Disney Plus app on your smart TV or TV connected device. I've been
He's clowning.
Fortunate to work at a company that has allowed me to do the show the way we want to do it for almost 23 years. I've done almost 4,000 shows on ABC, and over that time, the people who run this network have allowed me to evolve and to stretch the boundaries of what was once traditional for a late-night talk show, even when it made them uncomfortable, which I do a lot. Every night, they've defended my right.
This is the guy that y'all was loving at the Oscars when he made fun of all the pedophile jokes. See how much of a hypocrite a lot of you guys are, or how short your memories are. Remember, he went viral a couple years ago for making at the Emmys, making fun of everybody in the stands for making pedo jokes. He did that. Him. This guy. Short memories. Short memories. Right? Y'all was like, oh, look what he said. He called him out. Blah 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 blah. I remember because y'all sending me all the fucking clips. Like I didn't get the same clips. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, Bridget, thank you for the 5 in the chat. For some humor, go to the 2657 mark of the Jimmy Kimmel is back video. Maybe. I want to burn through all my stuff real quick. Hey, we all survived the rapture. Hey, man, I saw you call. My bad, bro. I was on campus. My bad, bro. Yeah, shout out to everybody that made the we survived the rapture, right? Let's see. Buick, thank you for the 2 on the chat. Sly, I rock with you, my guy. Free thinker. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being a fellow free thinker. All right. Once again, I don't know where he bent the knee at. Y'all going to show me. Give me the timestamp of exactly where he bent the knee. Because this is not bending the knee. This is an FU.
Poke fun at our leaders and to advocate for subjects that I think are important by allowing me to use their platform. And I'm very grateful for that. With that said, I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on Wednesday. I did not agree with that decision, and I told them that, and we had many conversations. I shared my point of view, they shared theirs, we talked it through, and at the end, even though they didn't have to, they really didn't have to, this is a giant company, we have short attention spans, and I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation. They welcomed me back on the air, and I thank them for that. That unfortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to switch.
And y'all really don't think this primary is coming up next year it's not gonna be a problem? I believe 2026 primary is going to be a problem for a lot of people. Okay, especially if things continue the way they have and progress even further. It's going to be blood in the water.
He's Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this. He's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists, too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his Foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna end it here. All right. Now, since we're talking about censorship, but Jane, how low have his ratings been? He's been on the air for 20 plus years. I don't think y'all understand what low ratings are. Low ratings in Hollywood get you canceled. Okay, low ratings will get you canceled. I'm not understanding how low he's been. 20 plus. What have you been doing for the last 20 years? He's been on air. Think about what you guys are saying. It's 2025. This man's been on since 2003. Name me a show that's been on for 20 years with low ratings. That makes no sense. That means they're not getting ad revenue. Nobody wants to put ads on their shows that cost them money to keep this thing going. What? It's okay.